Hello and welcome to another episode of Open and Shut Quality Book Reviews. I'm Ken. Thanks for stopping by. Kitchen Confidential was the book that put Anthony Bourdain on the radar of mainstream Americans. His frank and sometimes distressingly vivid descriptions of what goes on in some kitchens fascinated and shocked readers when that book came out, and it essentially paved the way for him to become what he is today, which is one of the food world's most infamous denizens. There's a different book that takes on the same type of subject but from a different viewpoint, and I thought it was very entertaining, but for whatever reason it did not seem to catapult its author, Steve Dublanica, into the national spotlight in the same way that Kitchen Confidential did for Anthony Bourdain. And that book is the subject of my review tonight. It's from 2008, and the full title is Waiter Rant, Thanks for the Tip, Confessions of a Cynical Waiter. And instead of being a voyeuristic look into the life of a commercial kitchen chef, it instead focuses on the experiences Steve had as someone who starts waiting tables as a temporary solution to some money problems that he's having at that time in his life. And then before he knows it, 6 years have gone by and he's still working at that temporary job. This book, of course, would never have come about if not for the success of his blog, also entitled Waiter Rant. The book even talks a little bit about the fallout of, well, being a working waiter and then writing about your day-to-day job experiences. So that was entertaining as well. I came away from reading this book in much the same way that I did after reading Kitchen Confidential. After reading Anthony Bourdain's book, I had it firmly reinforced in my brain that I am not cut out to be a chef. I can barely cook at home, but I certainly do not have the physical stamina to be a chef in a commercial kitchen. And I'm 100% certain that I do not possess the temperament needed to be a waiter either. Besides which, being a waiter, just like being a chef, is a very physically demanding job, and that's fine for someone who's young and in their 20s, but probably not as much fun for people who are in their 40s. I have nothing but the highest respect for people who do and who can make their living in food service. It's hard work, and reading these two particular novels only reinforced that respect. Now, Steve didn't start out his post-collegiate life being a waiter. He was actually studying to be a priest, of all things, which begs the question, how does someone go from wanting to be one of God's middlemen to the masses and instead end up being someone who probably just prays to God routinely for the strength not to choke the living bejesus out of the idiots that were just seated in his section and who are insisting to know if the chicken that they are about to eat was happy before he was killed to be food. Yeah, it's an interesting journey that he makes, and that's one of the reasons you'll have to read the book. Now, the book is not all just about, dishing on bad customers and autocratic managers who force their employees to pay bribes to get good shifts. That happens. He also touches on subjects like the importance of tipping and what a confusing subject that can be, which is funny that actually becomes a subject of another book that he writes later on that I might do a review on. He also focuses a lot of time and energy wondering why we spend so much time assigning worth to each other based on our occupations. There's one particular passage that actually struck a nerve with me. I'm going to read it to you here really quick. So to set the scene here, at one point in the book he's dating one of his co-workers, and she's just come unhinged because two girls who she gave very good service to and basically doted on the entire time they were eating, stiffed her. And she actually ran out of the restaurant and chased after them and screamed at them on the street. And he kind of follows her out and calms her down. And he's thinking back now, and he says, "I can relate to Allie's pain. A few weeks ago, following house policy, I added an 18% tip to a 10 tops check. The host, who had seemed happy with the service all night, got upset when he saw the automatic gratuity. Quote, 'You're not worth 18%, he sneered. I remember how much that man's words stung. That man assigned me a monetary worth and felt that he didn't owe me a penny more. He must have confused the practice of tipping with bidding for an item on eBay. I felt objectified and demeaned. I somehow maintained my composure and informed the gentleman he could discuss alternative payment arrangements with the local constabulary.'" I like that. I thought that was a fun passage. Over the course of the book, Steve works in a few different places, but the focus is primarily on his time at a place called The Bistro. He did a very good job during all the years he was writing his blog of keeping the actual restaurant's name and location a secret. Now, this was back in the early 2000s. I don't know that that would be possible to do now, really, but at the time it was still possible to keep a secret in the digital age. Of course, it was revealed after the publication of the book as most likely being a place called the Lanterna Tuscan Bistro in Nyack, New York. And that has since closed. So if maybe you're the kind of person who reads these books and says, "Oh, well, maybe I'll go check out that place." No, you can't. But I don't think you would want to after reading this book, after reading about everything that went on there. Now, if you liked Kitchen Confidential or just enjoy slice of life books of this type in general, I think you'll get a kick out of Waiter Rant. I mean, it's not great literature, but it's fun and it's a fast read and it's amusing and at times informative. I found the author's writing to be humorous, insightful, and even on occasion moving. There's a particular passage that makes me get all misty-eyed every time I read it. And it sounds like the setup for a bad joke, but it isn't. Simply put, it involves an intoxicated woman, a retelling of a famous Bible parable, and fettuccine carbonara. Probably my favorite passage in the book. Also, I'm no longer doing ratings, Badger ratings for the books I review on my channel, because if I'm telling you about it, it's either because I like it enough that I want you to check it out, or that I disliked it enough that I want to steer you away from it and save you some pain. So, the 3 out of 5 Badgers or 3 out of 5 stars or whatever you want to use for your rating guide system just seems unnecessary. So that's it for this edition. I will of course put links to the book in the description box down below. You can follow me on social media. Since you're here, don't forget to subscribe as well, and there's a bell icon that you should click on so that you will get a notification every time I post a new video to the K&M Collection YouTube channel. Also, if you have time, don't forget to check out my other YouTube channel, don'tpunishpain.com, where I make informational videos about what it's like to live with various chronic illnesses. You might find that to be interesting as well. I'll let you go for now, but until next time, I'm Ken McKim. You take care and happy reading.